In today's video, we're going to be ranking every single platinum I've gotten on my channel. There's over 26 different platinums, and I'm going to be putting them in 5 different categories. The first category is going to be super hard, and then not too bad, and then fun, and then just way too easy. Alright, for the first and most recent game, it's going to be Spider-Man 2, and I'm instantly just going to throw this inside of the fun category, because from a platinum standpoint, nothing about this game is actually difficult, but I really did enjoy playing the game. It's probably my top 3 for games I played this year, if I'm being honest. I really enjoyed playing the story, and based off the other 2 games, I thought it brought a lot of content, and especially play area. The map was massive in this game. So overall, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, and I really enjoyed playing Spider-Man. Alright, coming up for the second game, we have Adventure Time. I'm instantly just going to throw this into way too easy, only because in order to get the platinum, all you had to do was just complete the game, do all the side quests, and you were practically done. But when I was playing, I got super unlucky, and my game actually glitched out because, dude, this game is way too glitchy. Like, it was actually bad how buggy this was, and I'm going to be honest, once I beat it, I thought the game was terrible, and I actually hated playing it, and making the video in general for that was just kind of garbage. So I'm going to give it like a 3 out of 10, and it was just terrible. All right, coming up for number 3, we have Astro's Playroom. I'm just going to put this in way too easy. I'm not going to lie. This game was phenomenal. I did have a lot of fun playing it. I did get the platinum for Astrobot, but I'm not going to have a video on that. But when I played Astro's Playroom, it was phenomenal, and all the trophies were super easy and simple to get. All right, coming up for our fourth game, it's actually going to be Beat Saber, and I'm instantly just going to throw this in the hard category because the trophies themselves weren't that hard, except when I was beating the campaign, some of those challenges and those missions were impossible. Like, you had to move 2,700 meters in like a 3-minute song, and it was just terrible. And then there was some really grindy trophies, like play for a total of 24 hours or get a total of like 100 million score or something. Those weren't that bad. They just took a really long time. But overall, Beat Saber, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. And then platinum wise, it's just going to go in hard. All right, next we have Choo Choo Charles. I'm instantly just going to put it inside of the fun category. Choo Choo Charles was one of those games where all you had to do was just beat the game, do a few side quests, and you technically have the platinum. For me, when I was playing it, it was kind of just like one of those games where you'd play for like 10 hours and you just had fun playing it. And then after that, it was kind of whatever. But trophy wise, it was honestly really easy. Like I said, just play the game, do the side quest, and you're done. That's really all I got for Choo Choo Charles. All right, next for Dead Island 2, I'm going to put this in the not too bad category. The reason I put it in this category is because, you know, it's a typical game. Beat the story, do the side quest, maybe get a few collectibles. But the reason I put it here is because there's one side quest. It was like called the art something. And you just had to get a bunch of zombie parts. And for some reason, that took me way too long to do. It ended up taking me an extra 4 hours just to get that done. So based off that alone, I'm going to put in not too bad. Besides that, everything else in the game was super easy. I guess the multiplayer trophies were a bit bad, but yeah, overall, the game's not that bad at all. All right, and for this next one, we got Donut County. I'm honestly just going to throw this into way too easy. There's not really too much to say about that. And then we got Face Your Fears. This one's also into way too easies, but here's a fun fact. I was actually one of the first people to platinum that on the PSVR 2, which is still insane to me. And then we got Five Nights at Freddy's. If you go back and watch that video, I didn't even get the platinum in the video. I ended up making a short later on showing me getting the 100%, which is really stupid, and I still don't know why I did that. All right, next we got Ghost Runner, and I'm going to be honest with you, Ghost Runner was actually really difficult for me. This was around the time where I was just starting to look into harder games. So I'm personally going to throw this probably into not too bad. Because I wouldn't say it's as hard as Beat Saber, but it's a lot harder than Dead Island 2. So it's in kind of a weird spot. But when I remember playing this game, the first boss in the game, I was stuck on it for like an hour and a half. And I just remember struggling a lot with some of the bosses and just overall some of the things. So that's why I gave the rating for that. And that's pretty much all I got to say about Ghost Runner. Okay, and next we got God of War, and I'm gonna be honest, God of War should probably go into like the fun category, but if you're dumb like me and you played it on Give Me God of War, this is instantly gonna go to a super hard for me because it's still my hardest platinum to date. And I'm gonna be honest, if you want a hard platinum to do in a fun game, I would definitely try this on the hardest difficulty. It made the game honestly a lot more interesting. You had to think about it in different ways than people probably should have. I still remember beating the Valkyrie Queen and just freaking out because I had like 9 hours of footage of just me dying to the Valkyrie Queen. It was bad. Anyways, the actual platinum part of it's not that bad. It's just I played it on a really hard difficulty and it made it a lot worse than what it should have been. I literally have a video that's over an hour and 30 minutes of me just dying. Anyways, after probably 6 hours of playing, I finally ended up beating the Valkyrie. Let's go! Let's go! Finally! 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 Let's go! I played for 6 hours yesterday. I was up until 5:30 in the morning trying to do this. I got off work at 9. I played till 5. That's 8 hours. The trophy, right? Is that it? Let's go! Chooser of the Slain. Defeat the 9 Valkyries. Let's go, bro! Whoa, one more. There it is. All father blinded. Kill all the Odin ravens. Come on, give it to me. Father and son. Let's go. Obtain all the other trophies. That is God of War complete. And here's the best part. I go to settings. I go to gameplay. Give me God of War. I did it on the hardest difficulty. I don't wish anyone go through this, by the way. This was the worst thing I've ever done in my entire life. Next, we have Hello Neighbor. I'm probably going to put this in the fun category because the game wasn't that hard at all. It was definitely harder than Choo Choo Charles, but I wouldn't say it was as bad as Spider-Man. One thing I do remember about this game that was kind of annoying is after I beat the game, I had to do a lot of backtracking. I'm pretty sure I even had to restart at one point because I couldn't get one of the trophies. But overall, the platinum wasn't that bad, and I did have a good time playing the game. Next, we have Help Wanted 2, and honestly, I think I'm going to put this in hard, but you just got to let me explain. Okay, so the reason I threw it in hard is not because the game was actually difficult, but there was one trophy that I was on for hours and I couldn't do it. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but I had to get like 3 strikes in a row in the bowling game mode, and it was horrible. That trophy alone actually made me struggle on this game, and it added a lot of hours to it. Besides that, the game is a cakewalk. It was honestly super easy. The gameplay was good, and I liked pretty much everything about it. I did it! Let's go! I got the strikes. 3 in a row. Gobble, gobble. Full of turkey. Next, we have Little Nightmares 1, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to throw this in the fun category because it's not hard at all, and it didn't have a bowling trophy, for example. Like, there was nothing hard about it. Gameplay-wise, though, I did have a blast playing it, and I honestly recommend it to anyone. I'm pretty sure it has a controller port now, so you can play it on controller if you want. Next, we had Little Nightmares 2, and this is actually my first platinum video ever, and I'm personally going to put this in the fun category as well. Now, the reason I put this in the fun category is because there wasn't really any hard trophies in the game, and the game itself isn't that hard. The hardest thing about it was just if you missed a collectible while playing it, go back and find it, but I wouldn't even say it's that bad, so nothing about this game is really hard. Next, we have Moss, and I'm honestly going to put it inside of the not too bad category. Now, the thing with Moss, this one's a bit of a weird one because the game itself isn't that hard at all. It's just the collectibles. Going back through the whole game was honestly terrible. And if I remember correctly, you had to do 2 playthroughs for it, and you had to like speedrun or something, or not die. I don't remember what it was, but that honestly kind of sucked too. Because I remember dying on the last level and having to restart the whole game, and it was horrible. Next, we have Tunic, and I'm going to be honest here, if I didn't have a guide, I would instantly throw this in super hard. But luckily, I did have a guide, and it brought the game from super hard down to honestly not too bad. So the reason I say you should have a guide for this game is because some of the stuff in it, like if you played the game, you know what I'm talking about. Like some of the stuff in here, you're just not going to figure out on your own. And honestly, a lot of the trophies in here, I would have had zero clue how to do them if it wasn't for watching videos and just having a guide open for it. It's just one of those games that are honestly too high. Like I don't have a high enough IQ for them, bro, if I'm being honest. Next, we have Far Cry 3. And for me personally, I'm going to put this in the fun category, but one above Spider-Man. The reason I would put it here is because the story was harder than Spider-Man, and some of the trophies were honestly harder. I remember some of the collectibles in this game being kind of annoying. Like I had to collect 60 artifacts. I don't even remember really. It's been like a few months now, but some of the collectibles in this game were just super annoying. And then there was the Hunter quest, which I honestly had fun with those. And overall I enjoyed the game a lot. 79's a lot. That's an all in.
All right, all in. Great, damn it.
Just doubled my money. I just doubled my money. I got a trophy. That's the plot. That's the plot. Let's go. I'm done. Poker bully. Win 1,500 playing poker. Master of the jungle. Saying all trophies. Next, we got Maneater, and I'm personally going to throw this inside of the way too easy category. When I was playing this game, I thought it was just super laid back and chill, and there was nothing really difficult about it. Later on, towards the end, it did get a bit grindy, but if you just played long enough, you'd end up getting it done anyway, so it wasn't really that bad at all. Alright, these next few games, I'm just going to knock them out of the way because I don't really want to talk about them. So Slime Rancher, I'm going to put in way too easy. That game's just amazing. Miles Morales is also just way too easy. And then Job Simulator, obviously that game is way too easy. Next, we got Stellar Blade, and I'm going to be honest, this is my game of the year, but unfortunately it wasn't a nominee, so I voted for Astrobot. But I'm personally going to put this in not too bad. And then once again, pretty much like everything else in the not too bad category, it was super easy. It's just it came down to some of the collectibles being missable, and I honestly had to look up a guide so I didn't miss any, because that game, I have like 80 hours in it, and I only played it twice, which is crazy. But overall, I had an amazing experience on this game, and it's my personal game of the year. Alright, Steel Rising. Honestly, this is one of those games that would have been impossible for me to platinum if I didn't have a guide, but fortunately I did, and even with the guide, I would honestly still throw it in hard mode. Now, the reason I did is because one of the trophies, I had to beat the entire game without using any heals, and it honestly made it complete hell, but the guide showed me some strategies to do it, and I don't know, I just thought it was kind of hard, and some of the side quests in this game were kind of tedious. Alright, next we got Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm honestly going to put this game in super hard. Now, the reason I say this isn't because it was actually difficult, it's because I had to play the game 3 freaking times because how buggy it was. It was just so buggy, and it was honestly honestly unplayable at a certain point. This is honestly one of my most frustrating platinums I have, just because like, not actually, the game was not that bad. All right, and for the final game, it's actually going to be Evil West, and I'm going to honestly put this in the hard category. The reason I put this game in the hard category is because you actually did have to beat the game on the hardest difficulty. There was a good amount of collectibles, and the story was honestly kind of challenging at some points. But once again, I actually got super unlucky, and when I beat the game on the hardest mode, it didn't pop the trophy. So I didn't have to beat the game not once, not twice, but 4 freaking times before it decided to pop that trophy. That honestly, I could bump it up super hard, but nothing will compare to God of War for a while for me. And that's gonna be my list of all my platinums in 2024. What do you think of my list? Tell me in the comments below, and I'm out of here.